During the spring of 1947, Neil Armstrong graduated from Bloom High School, located in Wapakoneta, Ohio. Prior to graduation, Neil attained his student pilot's license at the Port Conetta Airfield on his 16th birthday. Shortly afterwards, Neil competed for the Navy's V-5 college training program because he wanted to further his education. Hoping to become an aeronautical engineer, Neil applied to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Purdue University. On one spring afternoon of his senior year, Neil received mail from the United States Navy. Armstrong was awarded the competitive V-5 scholarship, which allowed him to choose the university of his liking by obliging to serve 3 years of active duty. Accepted to both universities, Neil ultimately decided to attend the internationally recognized Purdue University. Confident with his decision, Armstrong would fly solo to Purdue's airport to pre-register for his upcoming classes. Around this time, colleges were experiencing the effects of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944. As a result, universities across the country were vastly expanding enrollment by providing education for returning World War II veterans. Otherwise known as the GI Bill, Purdue University now enrolled over 14,000 students. In the fall of 1947, the Armstrongs would travel from Wapakoneta to West Lafayette to help Neil settle into his off-campus housing. Anxious to begin the semester, Neil was focused on the challenges of engineering that laid ahead. Rather than taking naval ROTC courses, Neil played in the university's marching and concert band to fulfill his scholarship's military requirements. Being an avid musician, Neil would play the baritone horn during some of Purdue's most splendid events. Shortly after completing 3 semesters, Neil was ordered for naval training. The world had just witnessed the terror of the Second World War and were now in the midst of Cold War. On Sunday, June 25, 1950, war broke out again, but now it was between the division of Korea. Separated on the 38th parallel, the Communist North would attack into the South. Supported by the United Nations, President Harry S. Truman ordered U.S. naval and air forces to stop the barrage in the South. In about 18 months, Neil would receive his naval flight wings. On August 29, 1951, Armstrong would see his first action in Korea. Flying mainly naval Panther jets, Neil would engage in ground attack aircraft by damaging bridges, aiding ground forces, and destroying enemy tanks. Taking part in 78 combat missions, Neil Armstrong would earn 3 air medals fighting in Korea. Now a veteran under the GI Bill, Neil would return to Purdue in the fall of 1952 to finish earning his degree. Back at school, Neil decided to join the Phi Delta Theta fraternity. Located on 503 State Street, Armstrong would participate in many of the house's activities and serve as the fraternity's musical director. At a social function co-hosted with the Alpha Chi Omega sorority, Neil became acquainted with Janet Elizabeth Sheeran. Delivering the exponent around campus, Neil would also occasionally run into Janet. Within short time, they began to date. Being an upperclassman, Neil would student teach aircraft layout and detail design to GE 224 students in the fall semester of 1953. Neil also became the president of the Aero Club during the 53-54 academic school year. In January of 1955, Neil Armstrong would graduate Purdue University with a cumulative GPA of 4.8 out of 6.0. After graduating, Armstrong would travel to the Edwards Air Force Base in California to work for the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. Also around this time, Neil would marry Janet Elizabeth Sheeran. By October of 1958, NACA incorporated into the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Now working at NASA, Armstrong would be selected for astronaut training. Researching alongside other distinguished Purdue alumni, Armstrong would go on to command the Gemini 8 mission. Due for the Moon, Neil Armstrong also commanded the Apollo 11 mission.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Assignment as a member of the Big Base Jump School, Purdue Band alumnus Neil Armstrong, the first man to set foot on the moon.
Honoring his achievements, Purdue will complete the construction of the Neil A. Armstrong Hall of Engineering in May of 2007. Serving as the home for Purdue's School of Aeronautic and Astronautic Engineering, this facility will further educate Boilermakers for generations to come.